Welcome to a special edition of Emerging Civil War News. I'm Chris Mikowski. Joining me today from Gettysburg History is my friend Andrew Dalton, President and CEO. Andrew, how are you today?
I'm good. It's great to be back with you, Chris.
It's great to have you with me. I'm pleased that you have a second to sit down because you have a lot going on with this upcoming Gettysburg Film Festival. It's the latest in a series of exciting film festivals you guys have been able to pull together. Can you give us a little bit of the details?
Yeah, it's just a wonderful blessing for us to have an opportunity to work on this. We started the festival in 2023 with Ken Burns. You know, that's about as good as you can get for a headline guest and someone to continue to help us host the event. He's come back every year since 2024, 25. We last year we did World War II, and this year it's the American Revolution. No surprise for the 250th. We have a great lineup of guests. We've got some of the original cast from Hamilton. Ken is here, of course, Sam Waterston, who plays both Thomas Jefferson and Abraham Lincoln in Ken's various series over the years. We also have some cast from the show Turn, Washington Spies, which you may be familiar with from AMC, and a lot of other great stuff. Historians, authors, Rick Atkinson, Annette Gordon-Reed, Harold Holzer, Gary Edelman, and Chris Mikowski is one of our moderators for an event with Susan Eisenhower and Jeff Shaara.
Really looking forward to that opportunity to talk to just two fantastic voices and storytellers. So,
Yeah.
with the American 250, a lot of people kind of think of Gettysburg as a Civil War town, but really, I think you guys have done a wonderful job of broadening that lens and kind of reminding folks that there's a whole lot of Gettysburg history.
Yeah, Gettysburg is a prism, I think. You can view all of American history through everything funneled through Gettysburg in a way. Lincoln in the Gettysburg Address starts off by saying 4 score and 7 years ago, directly, hearkening us back to the founding and the promise of the Declaration of Independence. And so, Gettysburg, whether it be World War II, whether it be pre-Civil War Revolutionary history, even before that, the French and Indian War, there's some fascinating history from that period of time involving the early settlers in this area being on the frontier of European settlement at that time, kidnappings and murder and conflict over land and property and all of that really plays into the larger story of Gettysburg. This town was founded in the 1780s, just after the close of the Revolution, by the Geddes family, and James Geddes himself, the founder of the town, was a veteran of the Revolutionary War. So we are looking at all of American history in Gettysburg. I think it's just a great place to do that, and whether it's all of that or Dwight D. Eisenhower having a farm here. We hope people will keep coming back for all kinds of topics and themes.
This is a little bit of a tangent, but I want to say that your prehistoric section of the Beyond the Battle Museum is one of my favorite parts of the museum. It's a fantastic, fantastic section there. So,
Thank
uh,
you.
as we look at the lineup of films for this year's film festival, what do you have in store for us for film viewings?
Well, of course, all of the events involving Ken Burns will include a clip reel, and this is a kind of a unique aspect of Ken's work is of course always shown on PBS, and so most people are accustomed to watching it in their living room. But to bring Ken's work onto the big screen is something that's I think novel for our festival. It's not been done a whole lot, and so the events with Ken will feature clips from his new American Revolution series, which came out late last year. Of course, there's also Thomas Jefferson and Benjamin Franklin and some of these other series that he's done that touch on Revolutionary War topics. But in addition to that, in addition to Ken, we're screening three films kind of in headline spots each evening, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, April 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. I may not have given the dates yet. But on April 2nd, Thursday night, we're screening The Patriot. And of course, this is sort of a Hollywood classic and is popular with maybe not as much with historians as the general public. There's certainly quite a few liberties taken, but I think everybody will enjoy seeing Mel Gibson destroy the British. If you haven't already seen that movie and some of the scenes that are quite famous. And we're screening the next night The Howards of Virginia, which is an old film, and it's kind of a classic and really covers the Revolution through the eyes of one family. Some really great actors in that, and then we're closing it out on Saturday night with 1776, which, of course, the musical that kind of defined people's understanding of the Revolutionary War in the 1970s during the bicentennial, and then closer closer to my generation, this time period, Hamilton, of course, is the show that everybody knows, and I would argue more people know American history through Hamilton than probably through any other source in popular media, at least in my lifetime. So we're not screening all of Hamilton, but we have several cast members, and we'll be doing some clip screenings, and they're going to be talking about their experience being on that original cast on Broadway.
Yeah, the fact you've got these cast members who brought this story to life, and that story really has taken on a life of its own and has touched people in really exciting ways that have gone beyond the history crowd for sure.
Absolutely. And we have two of the lead stars of Hamilton, Chris Jackson, who plays George Washington. It's going to be really fun. He'll be on stage with Ken Burns and Rick Atkinson to talk about bringing George Washington to life. And then he's also doing a feature event about Hamilton on Saturday morning, which is already sold out, I'm sorry to say. But he'll be joined by Philippa Sue, who plays Eliza in the original cast. And we are just so excited to have them here. We're working on possibly having a third Hamilton cast member. I can't promise anything, but we're trying to do as much as we can, since that is such an incredible a project that everybody, if you don't know it, you've heard of it, and so many have seen it either on Broadway or off Broadway. I've had certain tracks from Hamilton on my Spotify playlist for many years, and so to have some of these people involved with it here in Gettysburg, it's going to be a very special opportunity for all of us.
You always impress me how many moving parts you manage to pull together, and this has happened year after year where right down to the last minute, you're making arrangements to continue to kind of bring this all-star lineup to folks. I understand you have a brand new person that you have just confirmed today, in fact.
That's right. Yes. If you're fans of the show Turn, George Washington Spies, which was very successful, and I think it's still streaming. The cast of Turn, we've reached out to several individuals. We've already confirmed Heather Lind, who plays kind of the lead, one of the lead roles as Anna Strong, and we've also just today confirmed Seth Numrich, who plays Ben Talmadge, another of the major characters of the show. So the two of them, I know they're friends. They've done events before. They're going to be here. They're also going to be doing a meet and greet and signing after the event, which is very exciting. And this is the first time we're announcing that. So if you're a fan of Turn, and then you can be here on Friday morning at 10, Friday, April 3rd. That's going to be our first big event at the Gettysburg High School Theater, which is our large venue that we're using for most of these events. And there's also going to be a living history encampment outside. So if you have young ones who are into history, even if you're not young, I guess you could still appreciate the charm of the living history encampment. But we'll have all kinds of activities, and that schedule is going to be released soon as well. And again, that's out at the Gettysburg High School, where most of the events are taking place this year.
Yeah, and I also kind of want to point out too that it's not just showing these movies, but you've got moderated discussions and you've got authorities. I'll give a shout out to our mutual friend Jared Frederick. He's going to be facilitating the discussion about 1776.
Right.
I know that you're really invested in this idea of pop culture as a gateway to educating people about things. Tell me a little bit about just like what are your objectives as an interpreter and as a historian that folks come and not just have a good time, but what are they going to take away from this?
Well, I think Hamilton is an example, and 1776 too, of kind of a history lesson in disguise. That it's not necessarily the reason that they're seeking it out. They're into the music or the talent or the excitement of the production and the show. But I just think we need to be leaning more into entertainment and media to get people in the door to history, and bringing all these people to Gettysburg. I can tell you, we have, from what I've seen from the ticket sales, we have a very young audience for Hamilton. That's not surprising. But having these folks come to Gettysburg, it may be their first time here. It may be their first opportunity to explore the battlefield or visit our museums or really connect with some human interest story that's significant. I think you can find a really exciting story pretty much anywhere in history, and it's just a matter of how the story is presented, how it's told, in a creative and enthusiastic way, to get it across to an audience that wouldn't necessarily pick up a history book or visit a museum unless they have a reason to. But with Hamilton, I would imagine that his story, a lot more people are reading, the Journal book, and looking into whether it's just a Google search or reading a full book. It's great that we can get people to engage with history of any age. And so I'm interested in finding any of these gateways that we can bring people through the door, get them here, and hopefully they'll develop that passion and enthusiasm for preserving and saving these sites and getting involved with making sure that the next generation can have the same opportunity.
So the dates again are April 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. If folks want to find out more information or buy tickets, how do they do that?
You can go to gettysburgfilmfestival.org. We've got the whole schedule, all the guests, everything that we've announced to date is up there. And there's still room at almost all the events. We have some events on Thursday are sold out, and the events with Ken Burns, the tickets are going fast. So if you want to check it out, I encourage you to do so sooner rather than later. And hopefully we'll see you in April. And you'll see Chris at one of our already sold out events. Unfortunately, Chris, your event is so popular that it is already sold out. And if we have any last minute flexibility, we might make a few seats available. But it looks like it's pretty close to full. So
I'm pretty sure they're there to
great.
see Jeff Shaara and Susan Eisenhower, but I
I
appreciate the
don't know about
compliment.
that. Don't sell yourself short. That'll be about Grant, Eisenhower, and Washington. So a combination of stories of the presidents who commanded armies in combat. So that's going to be a really great event, and we're glad to have you with us for it.
My privilege, my privilege. So, Andrew, thanks for taking a few minutes to tell us about it. Again, folks, it's April 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Check out gettysburghistory.org for more information. Andrew, good luck as you pull the rest of this together in the next month.
Thank you, Chris. Thanks, everybody.
So, I'm Chris Mikowski for Emerging Civil War. We'll see you online and on the battlefield.